Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 37 of the Galactic Windows Space Podcast. My name is Nick, and I'm known as the Orbital Alliance in 4K.
And I am still just chasing the milk, also known as Tan.
In 1080p.
1080p. Yep.
Yeah. You were on it, man. Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to slip it in there,
Both HD. Let's do it.
We've moved past the standard of the mid 2000s, that 720p nonsense. We're just leaving it in the dust.
Climbing up the ranks, guys.
Right. Welcome everybody to the show. This is a podcast about space and astronomy, where we're talking about those things because that's what we do. And if you're new here, welcome in. Feel free to participate in the chat because there's people from all over the world who join in and converse with each other, make friends with each other, and in tandem, we learn about space together. Because we believe that it's important that everyone has their own unique perspective when looking at the night sky. It's super important because how you see the cosmos affects how you live the rest of your life. You may not notice that, but once you do get that view, that one that's unique to you, then it's going to unlock a whole new experience for your life. And that's a really cool thing. So we hope that this is the beginning for you guys, kind of just get your first glimpse at how cool space can be. You don't need to know anything about space. You don't need to know any textbook things or sciencey things. Who cares? Leave that all in the dust. You're just here to have a good time and maybe get your first taste of something really cool. So feel free to say hello, make friends in the chat, and ask any questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. But we're just glad you're all here. Well,
you're right. That was a hell of an intro.
Oh, thanks, man.
I feel like you're so good at those.
I don't know.
Seriously,
yeah.
every opener, I'm like, Nick, just say anything and it'll sound good.
Yeah, I could tell you my Taco Bell order and it would sound fantastic.
I agree. I agree. Tandem. Yeah, I caught that.
Oh, yeah, tan puns.
Well, yeah, welcome in, guys. We are, we are approaching episode. I mean, we're close to the 40 mark.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple more.
40.
3 more.
We're gonna be over the hill pretty soon, man.
So we're moving. Train's moving quick, guys. And as always, we greatly appreciate every single one of you guys in here. And man, I am stoked for tonight, dude.
Mm-hmm. For all sorts of reasons. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, what are you most excited for?
I'm excited to learn something and to make myself feel like a fool. That's what I want to. I want to feel dumb.
Nice. I like it.
Is that not a sign though that you're learning something? Because you feel like, oh man, I feel really stupid. Like I'm learning something.
It's a good thing. I think you should always feel that.
Yeah.
The constant strive for just learning more, and it's crazy because sometimes I feel like I know stuff. I'm like, yeah, I know a lot, and then I have a conversation, and very quickly you become humbled, you know. And I'm hoping tonight's going to be no exception.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, dude. We've got a bunch of regulars popping in here in the chat saying hello. Do you want to do a quick shout out here? I see.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of folks. We got Angie, we got Celestial Siren, we got Alex, Harmony, JC, Astro Hillbilly, Kayla. We've got, let's see, who else? Melissa Bunny, Tamara, who's also just saying hello because she's going back to sleep. I believe she's
tease.
She's in Europe, right? So
she's in Slovenia.
Okay, yeah, totally. So she's got the time zone difference. Appreciate you stopping in to say hello, even though you're in the middle of the night. Or
yeah, did you set your alarm clock just to come in and say hi? Yeah. If so, W in the chat for Tamara.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Tony T, YOLO T Swaggins in the house too. What's happening, brother? So many good
some
good
irregulars.
Friends. Yeah. Gonna go ahead and post that too. Hey, that's okay. Regulars, irregulars, everything in between. You're all welcome here.
Mm-hmm.
Artie Jones, the legend.
R.D. Jones. Never belittle yourself. Your brain will believe you. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Dude,
it's a little woo-woo. Yeah.
It is, but it's also psychology in its purest form, right? That's science.
Well, why don't we start off the night with a little positive woo-woo and say that tonight's episode 37, is going to be probably one of our best episodes ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all gonna have a great time, and everything's fine, and everything's great.
Yeah. Manifest
Yes.
awesomeness. Don't mess around. I like this word, legendary. Alex throwing that there in the chat. Make life legendary. That's like one heck of a slogan.
Yeah.
Can we coin that? Has anyone used that?
Make life legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fine.
You know that episode of In Community where they're like, is it are you F-I-N-E or F-Y-N-E?
I don't remember that, but I
it's
feel
like
like
Troy
we
and
need to
Abed.
revisit that show.
F-Y-N-E. Oh my gosh. That's so good. Yeah, sweet dude. Tan, have you been doing anything spacey recently?
Just in my dreams.
In your dreams? Has it been cloudy by you?
It's been cloudy. It's been cold. So not much astronomy.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been saying that like the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like whenever we have clear skies, there's a full moon, which is not a bad thing. But if you're wanting to image, it can definitely be difficult.
Yeah.
And and on the new moons that we have clouds, rain, snow. So not much over here.
It's like the inverse sine waves or whatever. Is just they're just getting in the way of each other. But that's okay. I think that means, I mean, maybe we should try if we want to get woo woo. It was Groundhog's Day recently though.
When was this?
February 2nd.
Dang, I can't believe I forgot Groundhog's Day.
Dude, do you know, like, yeah. I think it said that spring is going to come early, so the hope is high. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm ready for it now.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Milky Way season, dude.
We need more rodent advice in
Yes.
our life.
Any rodent experts in the house?
Yeah, right.
Eagle Master from Twitch, what's up? What's up?
What's happening?
Yeah, we got
Thanks
a lot of the friends in here. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, so many people dropping in.
Tonight's gonna be a really cool episode. I feel like we say this every episode, but we have a little surprise. We have a little surprise on tonight's episode, guys.
Mm-hmm. We do. We
think you'll like it.
Gosh, chat's blowing up, and I love it. Guys, I want you to put a little bit of a prompt in your heads here for this evening's chat. I really want you to internalize, what is it that gets you to do the thing that you love? Like whatever that is to you. It doesn't have to be anything spacey, but like really, what is it in your own psyche, in your soul, in your being that's like, oh no, I'm totally doing this because I love it. Like, what is that thing? You don't have to like sound it off in the chat or anything yet. Like, just hang on to that, think about it, and then as we go through our conversation tonight in this episode, and as we talk to our guests, I want you to hear how that thing comes out for this person, and then in future episodes, start to connect the dots a little bit, and just like see how that helps bring you in tune. Seeing how other people identify with those passions and those hobbies and those pursuits can encourage you to continue to do that for yourself, to not get lazy, to not get lost in the mess of life, but to always be in tune and working towards those goals and targets that you set for yourself, to have fun or to achieve whatever it is. But I think you'll definitely be catching a glimpse of that tonight in this episode, and I don't want you guys to miss it. So kind of have that theme in your head, but always like keep that kind of in the front of mind for yourself, just in general. I think it'll be super helpful.
Damn, I really like that. Way to set the tone, man.
I know,
I'm all inspired.
Dang.
And we haven't even started yet.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait, dude. Let's just
We just do things.
let's just do things.
All right, hang on. I got to do something really quick. I gotta hold on.
Do your thing, guys. As always, grab your drinks. Ooh,
I gotta get some gear on.
nice. Okay, cool. I like it. I dig it.
Yeah, and you'll know why. in
That's a
just
pretty
moment,
sick logo.
right? I wonder who made it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
We'll have to find out. All right, you guys, let's welcome in our guest for episode 37. Here we go. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Galactic Window Space Podcast. Tonight's episode, we have a very special guest, Ian Lauer. adventure astronomer, and astrophotographer. Ian Lauer brings fresh energy to astronomy, inspiring others through stargazing and astrophotography. As an adventure astronomer, he leads immersive workshops in some of the most remote dark sky locations. With a background in astrophysics and working with NASA and MIT, Ian has developed systems for deep space photography, satellite tracking, and space debris detection. Beyond astrophotography, Ian shares his passion through YouTube videos, outreach events, and public speaking. He's featured in an upcoming 2024 Eclipse documentary by an Academy Award-winning director, and he and his wife raised $10,000 to donate Sea-Star telescopes to underserved schools in Appalachia. Ian's mission is simple: to reconnect people through the wonders of the universe. Let's give a warm welcome to Ian Lauer.
Yes, Ian, my man, welcome to the Galactic Window Space podcast, my friend.
Oh, so glad to be here. What an intro, huh?
Dude,
tan with the Grand Slam.
I had a blast, dude. Yeah, we both did. Such an honor to have you in here, dude. And I think, man, I'm super excited. Super excited.
It's gonna be fun, man. I see you rocking the hat, Nick.
Yeah,
let's
right?
go.
Got
the shirt.
Yes.
Well,
oh yeah, it was a given. There was no way I was gonna be doing this episode not wearing this hat. This is a sweet hat, dude.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely the most popular one I sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's also a Grand Slam. A lot of those going around. Dude, seriously, thank you for coming here on the show tonight. We're stoked to talk to you, get to know you, and to have the people who are tuning in, which I see we currently have about 20 people across the platforms tuning in live, to sort of interact with you and get to hear a little bit how you interact with the night sky yourself. There's so many different angles we can go about. We'll get through as many as we can in the time that we have. But most of all, we're just grateful that you were able to give us your Monday night, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be here. I love talking space, and I mean, Tan and I go back in the early TikTok days, so you know it's awesome to chat with him again.
Yeah. Well, let's start there. So for the guys that don't know, Ian, I would consider Ian one of the OGs, the original gangsters, especially on TikTok and astronomy. And he was one of the first people that I found on TikTok. And that's when I realized, like, oh, there's like astronomy is allowed on this platform. It's not just dancing and lip singing. Like there's other stargazers. So that was my initial connection with Ian. And I mean, this must have been 2019, 2020. But I would say within all that time, it's kind of like catching up with a friend and then seeing like, holy crap, like, dude, you're doing so much now. Like, what did I like? Let's catch up. So why don't you kind of fill us in and let everyone know a little bit about yourself, and how you got started. And yeah, let's start there.
All right, sounds good. I mean, I don't know if I can beat that intro reel you made. That was it's like Nick said, that was a home run right there. Hard to follow up. I'll try my best.
Trust me, your version is going to be out of this world, man. You got it.
All right, so let's see. I guess we should start all the way from the beginning. So in the beginning, there was a big bang. I'm just kidding. That's a little too far.
Should we cue the Big Bang Theory intro sequence right now? Where's Sheldon when you need him?
Exactly. Okay, so I guess I'll start in my beginnings. So I actually wasn't really that into space and astronomy, I guess, as much as just like any kid would be. I actually worked at Blockbuster for a while, for all of you who remembered that place. Mm-hmm. And so that was my first job outside of high school. And I was just a bit of a delinquent. Played music. I thought I was going to be like a rock star.
Yeah.
Playing guitar and drums and bands and stuff like that. and was just being a general delinquent. And I think I think some people get this moment. We call it the itch, where you're like, you feel like there's something more that you should be doing. And yeah, I took a geology field study class when I went to community college, and I was like, oh, sweet, I could get like credit for college credit just by going camping for a weekend. That sounds great. And we went out there, and I was so lucky because the teacher was he was a geologist, but he also had a background in astronomy. So when we went out there, I mean, I'll tell you, that was the first time in my life that I ever saw the night sky. Like I grew up in Southern California, so surrounded by light pollution, and going out to Death Valley is where we went. That was the first time I saw like our actual place in the universe. It blew my mind. Like I couldn't stop looking up. It was crazy. Like my neck was in pain just by like, I felt like a chicken when it's raining. Like
Worth it.
oh, it was amazing. So I was like, I have to know everything about this. Like I want to know whatever that is. I need to know about it. So I went to my community college counselor and I was like, okay, I want to study astronomy. And they were like, okay, well, astronomers they usually do physics, so you should study physics, and looking at the classes you've taken, you need to take like trigonometry first. I was like, okay, trigonometry, I have no idea what that is, but let's go, I'm all in. And so I took the trigonometry class and I didn't even finish it. I was like, well, astronomy is not for me, I'm out. And I went to work at my buddy's donut shop for a while, and I got that itch again. It came back after a while. I was like, you know what, I realized I didn't actually try. I was like, wow, I went through my whole life just kind of skating by. What would happen if I actually tried this time? So I went back and I passed the trigonometry class, and I was like, okay, well, let's just keep going. And, I took my first physics classes, and I went to university, and then I got my degree in astrophysics. And I was like, okay, sweet. I guess I did it. Great. Now what? And I knew I didn't want to be a researcher. I worked in like a gravitational research lab at the university for like a month. And I was like, this is so boring. Like, I love what they were studying, because they're like studying they're trying to figure out the value of the constant G for like gravity. And I was like, that's so cool. And I want to help. And then I was in there for like a month, and I was like, this ain't for me, bro. And so I was like, well, I'm not going down the academic route. What options do I have? And so after I graduated, I actually moved to Irvine, California. Mm-hmm. And I saw a job posting for a telescope manufacturer, but it was a marketing internship position. I was like, I kid you not, I sent my my application, and one of the first sentences was like, look, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about marketing, but I know a lot about telescopes. And the very next day they called me and they're like, all right, we want to interview you. So I got the job there. It was a manufacturer called Mead Instruments, which is now, bankrupt, but it's a whole different story.
Yeah, right.
And then from there, that was my introduction to the telescope and astronomy world, I guess, in the professional realm.
Dude, can we backtrack for a second? When you're talking about that team is trying to find the value of the constant G, can we all just unanimously agree that the only constant G in the universe is Snoop Dogg? I couldn't not think about that when you mentioned that. I was like, I have to be a tool and say this.
I saw someone in the chat mentioned a cheesy gordita crunch, and I was like, bro, that's a cheesy G right there.
Yeah. Wait, who said cheesy gordita crunch in the chat?
I think I saw someone say that.
Yes.
Maybe I'm wrong.
It's because they know me too well. It's only the best menu item at Taco Bell.
It is. I agree. 100%.
Yeah. Then you and I are instant friends. We're soul brothers bound by the universe. That's
bound
incredible.
By the cheesy G, the constant G.
Love it.
Oh my gosh.
I want to go back a little more to Blockbuster, because that was one of the coolest places. And I don't know, man, you seem like a dude that would give out just the dopest recommendations.
Oh, man. Working at Blockbuster was the easiest job in the world. And it makes sense why they went out of business. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's like,
I heard they're coming back, dude.
oh, that would be awesome, dude. I loved
What?
working there. I we used to so as an employee, you would get free movies. I think it was like you get 5 free movie rentals a week and 1 video game rental a week or something like that. And me and my friends would like look for the worst movies. There's a company that piggybacks off of high budget production films. So like when Transformers was coming out, they would like make these really garbage alternatives called like Transmorphers.
Nice.
Yeah. And so like we would rent those movies and watch them. They were so bad. The acting was like it was terrible, but it's like it was so bad it's good.
Oh my goodness.
Man,
Oh, those are
I'd
fun.
imagine you watch just so many movies.
I watched a few. Honestly, I most of the movies I watched was with my friends. We would like play poker together and then have a movie on in the background. Um, so I honestly I never really watched too many movies, and I still am kind of like that. Like I think the last movie, like new movie I saw was Dune 2. Um,
Mm.
but I find like most new movies I see is like when I'm on a plane. So
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
well, I guess I could just watch a movie now.
Yeah. That'd be like one heck of a date night. You know, it's like, yeah, I really don't see movies, but I will watch them on the plane. So you want to go on a flight? You know, let's go to New York real quick.
Let's go to Hawaii real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I was dying to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah. Actually, I did watch Detective Pikachu on a plane.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's a
And I
great
was like,
movie.
this movie's not bad.
Yeah.
And I've seen some
adding that
bad
to the
movies.
list.
Right. It is good.
Detective Pikachu.
It's got some solid casting in it too.
That's right. It was man, that was a fun job. Like I really enjoyed it, but I definitely was like a delinquent.
Yeah.
See, you were just getting out of the way. You know, you were like preparing for this epic chapter that inevitably was coming down the pipe.
That's right.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though. You went from working at Blockbuster and then you transitioned to working with Mead, which was I mean, I feel like if you are in the astronomy community, you know that name. It's I
Oh,
would
yeah.
say they were the giants, one of the giants.
Yeah,
What
they
was
were
that
big.
like?
Man, I was so excited my first like when I got hired, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm working in astronomy and telescopes and like I don't have a PhD. Like that's hard to come by for a lot of people. Even people who do have PhDs in astronomy find that they don't work directly with astronomy, telescopes, things like that. So I felt very fortunate. But I'll be honest, after a couple of weeks, you ever watch that movie Office Space?
Oh yeah.
That was what it was like working there.
Oh no.
It's I mean, it's just from top to bottom corporate job. I mean, they could be selling like screwdrivers. It wouldn't matter. They just whatever's making money. I mean, the office was like it looked like straight out of Office Space with the cubicle walls and everything. I mean, it was like not a very exciting place to work. But the cool part was that I did get to like the engineers were awesome people. The marketing department was super cool, and the equipment was cool because we got to like rent or you could take the equipment for a weekend, and I really learned about telescopes because when you're in school studying astronomy and astrophotography or astrophysics, you don't learn too much about that stuff. Even in an optics class that I took, we touch on it, but you don't dive deep. You just learn about concepts. So I got to really be hands-on with equipment, and I felt that was super valuable being there. And I got to meet everybody in the astronomy telescope industry, which is very, very small. It's a very small industry, so everybody knows everybody.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's really
so cool. Yeah.
Dude.
I've got a Mead telescope, and it's one of the old LS switch telescopes.
Oh yeah, the light switch. I remember that.
Yeah. Pretty cool, man. That's awesome. At what point would you say you had your next big itch? I mean, you're doing so much now, and I know it's a lot to fill in, but going from cubicle to everything that you're doing now?
Yeah. Yeah. The big breakthrough was when I worked at Mead, I got to do a meetup with a National Geographic
Meetup?
photographer. A meetup. Oh, that would have been so good. Wow.
Dude,
You should have worked in the marketing department.
Dan, where's your sound button there for you need your
We gotta
There
use
you
those
go.
sparingly.
Oh, that's
We've got
great.
two to use left.
Okay, yeah.
So I did a meetup with a National Geographic photographer and one of the retailers that Mead, one of the clients that Mead had, one of the retailers that they sold equipment to, and I got headhunted by that retailer, and they hired me on. So basically, poached me from the manufacturer because these two up and coming folks were buying the company, and they wanted young talent and wanted passionate people. And I always tell the story, which was they approached me and they're like, all right, well, we understand that you just got salaried position at Mead, which is great, but you should come work for us. We're going to transform the industry. We're going to bring new light youth to it, but you're going to have to move from Irvine down to Oceanside, California. So you're going to have to move, and you're going to take a pay cut to work for minimum wage, and you're going to work in customer service, and it's going to be great. And I was like, wow, you guys are so convincing.
Oh yeah, right.
No.
Sold.
Yeah. Well, eventually I made the jump anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that they had, there was like a vision that I could get behind, where working at a corporate job, there's no vision. There's nothing like that. There's no energy. So they had this energy, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go do it. So I took the job. They eventually bought the company, which was fantastic. And then over the years, I worked my way up from being customer service to salesperson to sales manager to number 2 in the company. And we took that small little telescope store that was on the corner of a beach town. And we built it into the largest telescopes retailer in the world, which was awesome. And we did that in like a span of 5 years or something like that, which was super cool. And then I eventually left, like right when COVID hit was the next itch, because I turned 30 when COVID hit, and I had that moment where I was like, wow, I'm 30 years old. I feel like I should be doing more. So I left the job and started pursuing doing astro tours and doing teaching astrophotography workshops, because I loved being out under the night sky. As cool as working with telescopes was, I still wanted to be out under the night sky. And that's something that professional astronomy doesn't offer. That's something that even working at a telescope specialist store, they don't offer that either. Like, you have to do that stuff on your own time. And I was like, look, I feel like I belong out under the night sky. So I had to find a way to make that happen. Now, all the astrophotography stuff, I mean, I cut my teeth when I was working there. I mean, I went through all of that hard stuff, learning the wrong way, how to do things incorrectly, working with thousands and tens of thousands of people, talking to them every single day about telescopes and all of the gear. And I'm not really a gearhead, but I learned everything about how all of that technical stuff works, all the hardware, the software, and then the business side of it. And all of that helped me when I transitioned over to working for myself, which was, I'll tell you what, being out going in the middle of nowhere in Utah is like the most fun thing I could think of.
Mm-hmm. When you kind of touched a little bit about the experience of being out under, like you're talking about Death Valley earlier, and now this Utah. When you are out in the wilderness, like the pure, distant, negative light pollution level wilderness, it may be 1 or 2 sentences. What are you feeling?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'd say at peace, but also like, that's a hard question, man. In 1-2 sentences, you can't do me like that.
All right, no restrictions. Let it out.
Yeah. There's some. So
1 or 2 hours. Yeah.
1 or 2 hours. That might be enough time.
Okay, good.
I think the best way I could describe it is like, you feel, at least for me, I feel like I'm in the place that I belong. Like, I belong there. There's something being out. There's something primal about it. You ever look into like a campfire and you just keep staring and you just it's like Zen. I feel like it's that same feeling when you like look up at the night sky. There's just some connection that's happening that I don't know. It's really hard to put into words, and maybe I should have become like an English student because I would be able to like describe it better. But there's just some like connection when you look up at that night sky and you just hear the birds chirping. Like you're completely disconnected because most of the time there's no internet service out there, so you're not on your phone. You're literally in that moment, just taking it all in, experiencing it. There are very few things that mimic that feeling.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well said.
That peace is it's a rare thing these days. And it seems more and more like there are few places other than out in the wilderness with the night sky that offer that same brand of peace. Yeah, it's just like it's getting me going because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think even when you go outside, I mean, I'm going to make general assumptions here, but like most people live near or in cities. So it's like when you step outside, even when you go outside to look up, one, you're surrounded by light pollution, so you can't see all the stars. But two, there's a lot of noise, and sometimes you get accustomed to it, like maybe like a distant highway that you hear often, or like some car alarm or, the air conditioning unit running in the background. But when you go out to these places, all of that stuff is gone. Like all the background noise becomes natural background sounds. And that's, I guess for a lot of people, that's like what peace is, or like that peacefulness, or like some ASMR, like people love ASMR type stuff. And I feel like that's just like, that's it. Like that's what you're reaching for when you watch those like nature ASMR videos, is like, you really feel that you're not just getting it through speakers, but like you're actually getting the real sounds when you're out there.
Right. It always creeps me out in the best way when I'm out in the middle of nowhere and the only thing I can hear is like the gravel underneath my feet, like as I'm like walking around to set up a shot or something. And even when you're just standing still, hands in your pockets, just looking up, and you just hear that crunch, of your feet shifting, and it is almost like it's simultaneously right in your face and 1,000 miles away. It's like the only sound within that vacuum, and it's like hyper present. And I love it. Like, is there a particular like feature of that experience that is your favorite that sticks out? Maybe audio, like visual, like what's like one of those facets that like surfaces for you?
Yeah, I think like when you have crickets going, it seems so cliche, but one of my favorite things during these workshops, a lot of time we're waiting for maybe a shot to line up, or we're waiting for the right light conditions, or maybe for the Milky Way to rise. And so you get to the location and you've hiked a mile or something to get there, and it's dark, or you're basically in the dark with like 5-6 other people.
Yep.
And so you're waiting, and maybe you have 30 minutes or an hour before that the shot is lined up. And so we all just lay around and chitter chatter, talk, but then like over time the talking starts to die down. All of a sudden it just like gets quiet. There's like a moment where everyone stops talking, it gets quiet, and everyone's like laying on their backs with their camera bag as a pillow and just like looking up, or some people are tired so they're dozing off. And there's just this like, that the moment that happens, it's like you've entered this like alternate universe where it's like, wow, this is something that like most people nowadays don't ever get to experience. And like, we're here doing it right now. It's so weird to like take yourself out of that and like just take it all in.
Yeah.
There's something about it where it's just like that silence, when it hits hard.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I love that. I really wish we were doing that right now. And I think when you were describing that, Ian, it made me realize that I think I also I take those things for granted, because I would argue that most of us don't have those windows of silence because of like just normal life, and it's not really practical for everyone just to get up and drive a couple of hours away to some dark skies. But whenever you are present in that moment, like you were saying, whenever it all kind of just converges to this like one point where it's like completely quiet, and it's also it's like both like visually and audibly like euphoric. Um, and I think no matter how much we talk about these things, unless you have been in this exact situation and experienced it for yourself, you won't truly understand like what we're talking about. You might have an idea, but to be there in complete silence and to be seeing the skies like you've never seen before, it is truly one of the most rewarding things that you can experience in life.
100%. Yeah, I agree, and that's one of the reasons why I do these workshops and outdoor adventures, bringing people out to experience these dark skies, because not everyone gets to, and I feel like it needs to be a shared experience. Like, obviously, it's incredible when you get to experience it for yourself, but when you get to experience it with a group of people, it just hits different.
Has there been a specific instance during one of those workshops, perhaps, where you've been with someone who is brand new to things and maybe they said something or something happened that you'll never forget? Has there been a moment like that?
Yeah, so
Good question.
one of my favorite ones is actually, I'm going to their wedding this week. They're getting married on Friday, so shout out to Paul and Lisa.
Shout out to Paul and Lisa.
Yeah, congratulations.
So they joined on a deep space astrophotography workshop that I was hosting. Me and my wife were hosting it in Joshua Tree out in California. And it's one where I teach people how to capture deep space. I provide the trackers and telescopes, basically all the equipment. All they have to do is bring their camera. And so then I teach them all of the techniques that they need. So we get out there. It's the first night. We teach them all the things they need to know. And then all of a sudden, it's time to go out and shoot. It's dark. We walk outside. Everyone's looking up. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's wonderful night sky, winter night sky. So it was cold. Couldn't be out there for too long, but it's fantastic. So they get up and we're setting the trackers and line up the shots, going after the Orion Nebula. Great target to shoot for beginner astrophotographers. So Paul, back there, gets takes the shot, and then as the timer counts down, you see the image pop. It's the first ever image he's ever taken of deep space. Pops up on the back of his camera, and he sees it, and I'm there. I'm like, yeah, what do you think? And he's just sitting there, and he's looking at it, and he's like, cool. Like, okay, he's a mellow dude, so I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, he has a saying like, ABC, always be cool. So everyone else was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, having that like visceral reaction, which is super cool. The next day, he shows me this graph. He's got one of those Aura rings, like measures your heart rate. And so he shows me the graph, and he's like, you see right here, this is where I saw that picture of the Orion Nebula come in for the first time. And you see on the graph this huge spike in his heart rate. And I screenshotted that. I have that saved my hard drive, because that is like, wow, that is so like, this is like evidence that of like what it looks like, what it feels like to see and capture deep space on your own for the first time. So that one always stands out to me. That always sticks out, and I love that he shared that with me.
That's so freaking cool. He's got to work on his excitement though.
Hey man, always be cool.
He's like the kind of guy you want to have hired to interrogate war criminals or something. Just have like on like the FBI
chill, dude.
or
Totally
CIA.
unfazed.
Yeah, like doesn't show it. That or in like world class poker. I don't know, one of the two. But
he'd probably crush at poker.
Right.
That is so cool. I've never just what a cool thing to share. To actually see how he felt.
That was a good one. Another one this is actually more me losing my mind. And solar eclipses aside, because I will always lose my mind during a total solar eclipse. But we were running a workshop in Utah last year. Or was that last year? Yeah. Oh my God, it's 2025. So yeah, 2024. And
yeah, right.
There was that huge solar storm back in May of last year where the aurora like went all the way down to Florida or Cuba. And we were in southern Utah, and I've never seen the aurora before. And so we were in southern Utah, and we were running a workshop, and I get this like notification of like huge solar storm, and I was like, guys, this is like actually happening. Like we might see it. Expectations were low. It's like, oh, we're gonna see it, so we're gonna see like this like faint little glow on the horizon, which is like, oh, okay, that's cool. Then like we're driving out to the spot that we were gonna go shoot, and all of a sudden I'm like seeing through the clouds. I was like, dude, it looks kind of green in the northern horizon. Is that just me? And my buddy Ryan's like, yeah, it is. And so we like stop the whole caravan. I get out of the car, just snap a quick test shot, and you could just see it just popping off. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. This is happening. We have to stop right now and start shooting. And so we just pulled off to the side of the road and just set up all the cameras. And we're shooting. A lot of the students are like, what settings do we use? How do we? And we were like, dude, I've never shot an aurora, so we're just shooting on the fly. Like
spray and pray.
Yeah. And we're walking them through our thought process. But man, that was amazing. And like you could see the color, like the sky was like red, and then like off in the distance there was a very, very bright green, and you could see the pillars moving. And for somebody who's never seen the aurora, I was like, wow, I can't imagine how intense it would be if you were in like Canada or something like that. We're down here in southern Utah seeing these huge light pillars just moving and dancing in the sky. It was so cool. And I was recording myself for a vlog, so I have hours of footage of me being like, wow, you guys, it's getting brighter. It was awesome.
Dude, that's insane. It made me think, like you just mentioned, you have hours of footage of this, and I'm sure you got similar footage of other astro experiences. Like, what do you think about potentially like future generations of your family and how they might discover you through that footage? Like, what do you think that might mean to future generations?
I mean, I guess it could go one of two ways. They could see my excitement and be like, lame. Or they could,
Grandpa was a loser.
Yeah. My dad was lame.
Yeah.
But my hope is that they see this like excitement. And I've had like YouTube comments. People are so nice on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
that's the sarcasm. Not the chat. The chat here is awesome. You're all amazing. I'm just talking about the negative Nancys out there. Sometimes I get people who be like, "Wow, your reactions feel so forced." And I'm like, you watch too much TikTok. Like, you need to go outside and like experience stuff. Makes me feel like maybe they've never had that feeling before of just like pure excitement. And I feel like I get like that when it comes to like astronomy events, like a total solar eclipse. I'll just like lose my mind and I can't help it. It just that's just what happens. Or like when I saw the aurora, I was just like jumping around like, it's like I can't control it. So I hope that when people see that stuff, that they feel like they want to have that feeling. They hope it inspires them to seek that excitement. Because when I was younger, I was super into sports, and I always felt like, and I never really played sports after high school. And I always was like chasing this feeling of like that buzzer beater 3-pointer that you make to win the championship. Like I was like, man, I want to feel that, like whatever that is. Someone who knows the English language really well. Someone tell me what that feeling is, like Frisian or something, whatever that term is. But it's just like the height, the peak of like of amazement. Like, I can't believe we did it. Like, this happened. And so I feel like that comes out of me when these moments happen, when the sun gets blocked by the moon, and I get to witness something that people probably like 1,000 years ago would think that the world was ending. And I get to witness this like eclipse where everything gets dark, and we're just a small, narrow, like 90-mile wide path of people in the entire world that get to see this at this very moment. And there's something about that like invokes that feeling inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much.
Yeah,
that's a rare thing, dude.
Dan.
No, I was gonna say that I think that's just the absolute pinnacle of who you are, and something that truly just like the happiest moment in your entire life. Because like it's a very relatable thing, what you're feeling. And I have a very similar thing with astronomy as well. Whenever we had the eclipse, I was freaking out. Whenever the northern lights were showing, I forgot how to use my camera. I was trying to figure out like who to call to tell them. I just couldn't think. And it's not like that happens all the time. Any other time, I am dialed in. I'm an expert for the most part. But whenever you are completely vulnerable in that moment and you're just soaking it all in, I think that's just the absolute pinnacle of happiness. And I hope everyone gets to experience that.
Me too.
There's a phrase that's been kind of brought up for me a lot recently, and it's kind of popular in maybe the psychological realm, but the body keeps the score. You know, like there's books written about it, and I think it just really makes so much sense. I can't believe I haven't heard about that until, you know, my adult life, because it's so helpful for all parts of your life, like whether you're having a really hard time or in moments like this where you're euphoric. You know, like your body's telling you something for a reason. Like you're in tune with a moment, and your body wants you to know, like, this is important, this is special. And I love how you described your experience, and you got to the point where you couldn't think of the words because your body was screaming so loudly to you how awesome this is, how much you love it, and how much you were like born to be in that moment, you know. And it's just so cool. So the more we can listen to that voice, I think the better.
The stars have aligned in those moments.
Yes. We're the one hobby that you get to use that phrase liberally, and it's it makes more sense than others, you know.
Oh yeah, it's like the word awesome, which I feel like, I mean, it just doesn't mean what it is supposed to mean anymore. But I think you truly understand when you should apply that word when you have a moment of awesomeness. You know, like you're in awe. You can't. You're like struck by the moment.
Right, man. Oh,
Pretty cool.
dude, and it's like making me want to see Aurora again now, dude. It's just like these repeat moments here.
It's epic. Like, dude, the
so
next
cool.
eclipse. Like, I am a fully fledged eclipse chaser now, a umbrophile. I think that's the word that they call it.
Oh,
and I saw the 2017 one, which was epic too. That one was sweet because I was at a conference for that one in Casper, Wyoming.
Oh yeah.
And I got a phone call about 2 days before it was happening. And it was that Nat Geo photographer, the one I was telling you about when I worked at Meade. And he hit me up and he's like, "Hey dude, this eclipse is happening. What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm in Casper. I'm working a trade show for the Astro company. We're going to check out the eclipse. Where are you at?" And he's like, "Okay, good. It's like, "Well, we're shooting a car commercial for GMC, and we need someone to help us out with the like space side of things. Can you do it?" I was like, "Oh, well, where is this happening?" It's like, "Well, we're about an hour and a half from you." It's like, "Oh, sweet. Well, let me call my boss and see if it's okay." And so he's like, "All right, yeah, go check." So hang up, call my boss. I'm like, "Dude, Travis called, and I really want to do this thing. Like, can I do it?" And he's like, "I already talked to him. The car's already on the way to pick you up." And I was like, "Sweet."
Hell yeah. That's
So
awesome.
I got picked up and went out with it was a
W
media
Boss.
company called Matador Network, and then there was GMC and then my buddy Travis. And yeah, they were filming a car commercial, and they wanted to film it during the total solar eclipse while it was happening for their car line, the Eclipse car. And they needed somebody on site to kind of help them, guide them with like what to expect. And so that they brought me out there as a consultant to do that stuff, which was it was so awesome. We had this like they rented out this dude's plot of land, which was like 4,000 acres or something crazy, way out in the middle of nowhere. And he's a super nice dude. And there was like 13 of us, and we had rain the night before, so we were all worried about like the weather and what are we gonna do. And I'm sitting there like, oh man, if this doesn't work out, that would suck so bad. And I never seen a solar eclipse before the 2017 one, so I was like, oh, I don't know what to expect either. But I'm getting people all hyped up, like, yeah, this is gonna be so cool. And then the media company wanted to do a live stream, And then, we're talking about it, and then all of a sudden it starts to get dark, and I'm starting to get that like, guys, this is like happening, like it's happening. And then all of a sudden, the sun gets blocked out by the moon. The full eclipse is happening, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Oh my gosh, this is insane. We're live streaming this whole thing, and it was amazing, incredible. Had an awesome time. Everyone who's seen a solar eclipse, exactly what I'm talking about. And so call my boss afterwards. And I'm like, dude, that was so cool. I had so much fun. And he's just like, dude, we watched the live stream. I was like, oh yeah, how was it? He's like, well, you lost your mind. I'm like, in a good or bad way? He's like, it was good. You were just like my arms were like this. I was like, the camera's like, and I'm like, so he's like, so just to let you know, that video stream had 1.5 million people watching it, and I was like, oh, I could just see 1.5 million people say, oh my god,
you just
watching me lose my mind.
That's when your boss goes, "You're fired."
Yeah. Dude, there was another guy who was at the conference who was live streaming on the actual like company account, and then like as it's happening, he's like, "Oh F, oh F, oh F." It's like, oh my gosh, holy F, holy F.
I would argue that's why you had so many views, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about watching people just again be completely vulnerable and just being so excited about such a special event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was amazing. So that was a lot of moments like that with astronomy.
Did the car commercial turn out? Did they get the shots they wanted during the eclipse?
They got the shots. I don't know what they did with the commercial. Maybe they used it for like a foreign market or something. Honestly, I've never like followed up with it. I'm not really a car person, so I didn't really like.
Sure.
It's not really.
He was just there for the eclipse, dude.
Exactly. I was there for the.
A car was involved.
Yep. But yeah, that was so cool. And then the 2024 one was also incredible. Did you guys see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tan and I were
also doing the same thing.
Right.
Freaking out. One of my cameras didn't work. Yeah.
Sorry, dude. I kept talking over you. My bad.
No, just same thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was probably about an hour away from Tan. I was in Southern Illinois, and he was like just over the Mississippi River in Missouri. So we were really close, but we both got to see it, which was sweet.
That's epic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Do you have any plans for the... well, there's a few of them upcoming, but have you decided which location or which one you're going to go see?
Yeah, so Spain for next year. And then... I don't know about 2027 where we'll go. I haven't thought that far out, but definitely Spain for next year's total. Going to be traveling for that one. That's going to be awesome.
And that one, correct me if I'm wrong, the as it goes, the path ends in Spain or just past it, right? So it's going to be like a horizon eclipse. Is that right?
So
Yeah.
if
you're in what's the island? Ibiza, I think Ibiza. Anyways, the islands that are like southeast of Spain. Yeah, if you're out there, it's like a black sunset is what they call it, where you have a total solar eclipse as it like descends below the horizon. So
Dude,
yeah,
so
Ibiza.
cool.
So if you're out in that area, you're gonna see a total solar eclipse sunset, which would be epic. I mean, that would be.
Yeah.
I can. It gives me like ideas for photo shoots, which I'm like. I have like ideas for like, oh, maybe I should like hit up Red Bull and be like, what we should do is like I have all these ideas. Let's make this happen, because they worked with Peter McKinnon for the last one, and I was like, he's a photographer, so why don't we do this one?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've got like this list of it, but they could also just like look at my list of ideas and be like, we'll just take that. See ya.
Right, for real. Dude, that video that Peter McKinnon did was insane. If any of you guys watching this do not know what I'm talking about, look up photographer Peter McKinnon on YouTube. He did a video where they teamed up with Red Bull and they tried to get like these planes to fly like right past the eclipse during totality, and they were rehearsing to get it right. And I won't spoil it if they got it or not, but it was a really, really amazing video. So yeah, dude, you should totally do it, and just make sure that they don't steal those ideas beforehand, because that would be the worst.
Oh
Man.
yeah, that'd be fun.
But there's probably a lot of potential for really cool foregrounds. Kind of like how Tan, you do those. You get yourself on like a hill in the distance, and you get like the moonrise. Like you
Hmm.
could imagine having like the corona just glowing, and having like um, a Spaniard church or something like that, or some cathedral. I don't know. There's probably all kinds of really beautiful
Endless
things.
ideas. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you could just take it and run with it. There's so many cool ideas. So I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, eclipses are like the thing I'm obsessed with, like for the rest of my life now. After
Mhm.
seeing two, I'm just
Wow.
like, yeah, this is well,
Yeah.
like I've got a new like very niche hobby.
Yeah, dude, I love that about Astro. Like, the more people I meet who do it, it seems like people kind of okay. This is a stretch, but it helps illustrate it for me. The Price is Right, the game show, classic game show. There's that game Plinko. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they like you drop the little like hockey
Yep.
puck thing, and there's all the
Oh, and it
pegs
goes
on this
all-
board, and it's like bounces around, and you try to get it to land in the different slots at the bottom. There's different ones, different values. Like when you get into Astro, you're kind of like putting your little puck into the board, and you're watching it go down. The more you do, the more shoots you do, the more events you see. But eventually, you just kind of sort yourself into like, oh, that's the thing I want to focus on. And everybody seems to be different in some way, and I love that eclipses are yours. You've had this awakening to it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it. I mean, there's so many different routes you can go with Astro. Not even just like the photography route, but like if you're on the visual side, like just eclipse chasing in general, because like you don't need to be a photographer to be an eclipse chaser.
Mhm.
I met a guy. His name was Michael, and he's the guy behind GreatAmericanEclipse.com, and
Oh yeah.
I think he's been to like some insane number, like 20 total solar eclipses,
Jeez.
which to me
Dude,
was like,
that's so crazy.
yeah. And I asked him, I was like, what's like the most memorable one you've ever done? He's like, well, the first one that comes to my head is where they were in that super far northern town in Europe, Svalbard.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, yeah, we had a night of aurora. It's like some epic aurora in the sky. And then the next day we had an eclipse. I was like, dude, that's like the double whammy.
Yeah.
The wombo combo.
Yeah, that's right. The whole wombo.
Dude, what's up, Will? Welcome in, man.
Hey, Will. Oh, what a legend.
Dude, for real, right?
We got two legends in here.
I really quick want to take a brief moment to just come up for air and say hello again to everybody who's tuning in with us live during this episode of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. We see you guys in here. Feel free to participate in the chat, and on whatever platform you are. YouTube will be the most popping off, but we are live on Twitch as well, on both my channel and Tan's channel. We will see those come through into the comment section here for us. So we'd love to see you say hello and interact with people. Bring your questions. We're having a conversation with Ian Lauer, astrophotographer and entrepreneur, and just all around cool dude. We can't forget that part because it's totally true. And we're having a good time so far. We're about an hour deep into this conversation. So no matter when you're tuning in, you're sure to be fed some sweet excitement about astronomy. So again, welcome in. I also want to give a special shout out to our channel members who are tuning in. Anybody who's got a little star next to their name into the chat. Appreciate all of your support for the podcast. And if you want to become a member, you can hit the join button below the video. And you can find all the different tiers you can subscribe to there. We again appreciate every single one of you who've chosen to do that.
You guys rock. You guys rock.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch topics here. I'm really interested in your shirt and Nick's hat. You've got merch.
I've got merch.
But I feel like this merch isn't just merch. There's something special about it. And
Yeah.
tell us more about this merch.
Yeah, so it's it's Stargazer, which is the clothing brand that I have, and it's for people who who like to be up at night, who like to get stuff done at night.
I didn't know we had a live sensor program working right now during the show. That's insane. Tan, when we get that?
Just now.
Yeah, so I mean, number one, I think the logo is just rad. I really love it. This shirt's one of my favorites. It's my Seize the Night shirt, my Carpe Noctem one. They're available. Shameless plug. It's on my my website, stargazertours.com. We have merch available, or if you join a workshop, you'll get some pretty sweet merch as well. But yeah, I mean, there's a huge gap in the market for people who to represent people who are up at night, which is definitely me. And it doesn't have to be astronomy, but that's kind of like the focus, because it's my background. So merch for people who just like astronomy and being up at night. This is for those folks. And if you wanna rock it, check it out. Stargazertours.com. Check out the merch, which is also my tours and workshops, which we've got some cool ones coming up this year, which me and my wife are working on right now. Last year was so fun. We did one in Arizona, and we did nice. 3, and we do them back to back to back. So we had the one called Star Sisters, which was basically teaching. It was an all women's one, teaching them how to do deep space astrophotography. And then my wife is an artist, so we had Cosmic Brush, which was like teaching them how to do space oil painting.
Wow,
that's so cool, dude!
Awesome. Yeah, so it was a blast, and we're doing some more this year. So in addition to like the outdoor adventure workshop, we like to cater to both. So there's the people who are like hardcore, like I don't mind pooping, digging a hole in the ground, and then there's the people who like I need running water.
Yeah,
so, cater to both. Whatever adventure is best for you. You can.
Where do you fit in?
Both.
Yeah.
I like both. I like a nice mix. Like I love being out in the wild, but like after 5 or 6 days, I need a shower.
You like your toilets out in the wilderness? Is that it's just like you said mix of both? So I was like, yeah, just imagine this like toilet in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah, I need the camping, but with like a porta potty.
Yeah, right. But the porta potty's got like a moonroof on it, so you can stargaze while you're doing your business.
Oh yeah,
that's a golden idea. We gotta start
cool.
that. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Stellar poops.
Oh god. It's so fun though, because a lot of these the people who do these, they've never been to dark skies, and we try to do Bortle 1 or Bortle 2 skies, so like super dark skies, and it's so cool seeing their reaction when the stars come out. We go outside and we look, oh my gosh, it's like I feed off of that energy. Like to me, it's just so exciting seeing their excitement. Then I get excited. Then it's just this like feedback loop of excitement. And then, by the end of the night, we're all tired just because we're so excited. Yeah. So those are super fun. We got a couple coming up in July. We've got the place. We're just, we've got to get the web pages up. And then we have some more again in Arizona in October. And then a super cool one where I'll be on a Ritz-Carlton super yacht traveling across the Atlantic. What? And we'll be doing stargazing while we're, in the middle of the ocean.
Take my money.
So that one will be fun.
Dude, that's so cool. Yeah. This is awesome, bro. Excited. You're doing some really cool things.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's good fun.
Dude, I have so many questions. And I'm going to try not to like overflow because I'm just freaking out in the best way. First of all, I wanted to ask you mentioned your wife a couple times, and you guys like partner together on this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you guys meet doing astro, or did you meet somewhere else?
So when I worked at the telescope shop, her and I would do a lot of like live talks at places like around the US at like events and stuff. We just kept like meeting each other at these like same events. Mm-hmm. Just like over and over. It'd be like at Space Fest or some like Star Party or some like observatory meeting or whatever. Like we just kept meeting each other. Just over time we just hit it off, and one thing led to another, and now we're married.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of her specialties and focuses? What does she like to do?
So she is a space artist. Her name's her artist name is Catherine Machen.
Oh,
And
okay.
she's she's
I've
like a space oil painter.
I totally know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
She's like the best in the world.
I did not know
Wait,
that
what's
you
her
guys
name?
were married.
Catherine Machen. She's the goat. She's the goat when it comes to space art.
Yeah, she's incredible stuff. I follow her on X, I believe.
Nice.
That's awesome. I think it's our. Yeah, that's so cool. So like, the next question I had was kind of ties into that. You were talking about the different like specific workshops you guys do, and you mentioned the one that was focused towards women, and I was like, that's so cool. So you guys brainstorm these ideas for together for like how could we create like take workshops to the next level, like create these focuses. How does that work for you guys?
So we both love space, obviously, and she has tagged along with some of the workshops that I was doing when I was first starting out. Because when I first started doing workshops, I didn't know what I was doing, so I would go, as a teacher on other people's workshops, and her and I would both kind of come to the same conclusion, like, wow, these could be done like 10,000 times better. Like, how can we make this experience just incredible for people? And so we always just brainstorm these different ideas of like, what would be super fun? What would be like the thing that would make people just like, they can't say no. Like they have to say yes. And so last year, for example, one of the ones was the Star Sisters Deep Space workshop. And it was like, okay, well, what if we made this like luxury workshop where we teach the ladies how to do deep space? And this was all her idea, which she was like, she had this like amazing, incredible idea where it paints the picture where it's like, imagine like processing your images with like a face mask on, and like doing the whole like lady pampering thing. Yeah. I was just like, it's so brilliant. And then like we got a private chef, so all the food is taken care of, and it's just total like luxe experience. And so people like it was such a big hit. And so this year we're doing some really cool ones too. Not to leave the guys out. So we have Scotch and Scopes, which is like Scotch or whiskey tasting, and deep space photography. And we got some other cool ones too, like Together Under the Stars, which is like a couples one. And then in 2026, so the folks that I do the adventure workshops with, we've done a lot of like discussion about, hey, what if we dialed back the photography part and did more of like a adventure, like outdoor adventure. Like obviously photography will be a part of it, but then this allows people who aren't photographers, who just want to join along on these experiences, and and they just aren't sure how to do it, they can tag along on these experiences. They can join these expeditions, learn how to do overlanding or camping, and go to these incredible night skies and these incredible places and do really cool things. Like maybe we'll do Colorado horseback riding, or we'll do geode hunting in Arizona, or we'll do like hikes with a professional geologist in Death Valley and things like that, all focused around like astronomy and space. But you have these like auxiliary things that you also do. So it's not all just space. It's just space is the thing that brings the people together. But then we do all these other cool things too. And so we're planning a lot of those things for like the next year. But for this year, definitely, still a lot of photography stuff. We have our Escalante overlanding workshop where we teach people how to do overlanding. You rent the car that can do all the go over all the crazy terrain and stuff like that. And we go to like places that very few humans have ever gone to, and we take photos of the Milky Way and stuff like that in those places, and then all the luxury ones. So yeah, they're super fun. It's a lot of work, but it's super, super fun.
Wow.
That's incredible, man. That's so freaking cool. Going from Blockbuster to hanging out in the cubicle to I'd say living the dream, man. Doing what makes you happy.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride. So I guess if we go back to the like beginning of the story, which is I guess like my journey to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Not the Big Bang. We already did that joke.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So when I left that telescope company at COVID, and it had like 2 years of just like figuring out how to like make money without a job,
Yeah, right.
which was very tough. But doing the workshops, I learned how to like sell prints, sell my photography, and like do consulting and things like that. And it was, I was building this audience, which was really cool. But then I got a call from a buddy of mine, and they were starting up a new company. So they wanted to do this startup company, and he wanted me to be a part of it. So I said yes, after some convincing. And I was like, I don't know, like I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm building this thing, and he was really adamant about getting me involved in it. And so I eventually said yes, and I was like employee number 2 or whatever. And it was a company called R-Sky, which is like a space tech company that was like our founders were like the guy who like made Smart Things and Bright AI. And anyways, went through the whole startup process, and eventually we turned it from like this like software platform for like taking pretty pictures, and we turned it into like shifted our focus into tracking space debris and satellites and stuff like that. And then I've never been part of like a startup or like the startup culture or anything like that, so it's like very eye-opening to see what that kind of like Silicon Valley type lifestyle was like. Which was like 12 14-hour days, 7 days a week for like a year and a half straight. But it was very interesting to be able to be in like calls with like venture capitalists and like learn how to like pitch an idea, or like how those conversations actually go, because I was never a part of that stuff. Like I was, again, at the end of the day, the telescope place was like retail, and then the like adventure workshops was more of like sales and marketing, but like through social media and things like that. So this was like a completely new world to me. And so being able to like experience what that's like, it was very, I mean, I'm very grateful that I got to be a part of that stuff. And, eventually, after being in those phone calls and talking to all these VCs, we got funded. And then after we got funded, I was like, okay, I'm going to take my leave now.
Yeah.
And so we got funded, and then I left, and now now my wife and I are back at doing these outdoor adventure workshops and all this all the fun stuff that we've been up to the last year and a half or so. And the company, actually, if you're familiar with Planewave Instruments, which is like a big, they're like a telescope manufacturer, but they make like stuff for like big observatories.
Those huge,
so like, massive telescopes.
$100,000 whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like just a couple days ago, they just announced that they are merging together with R-Sky, the company that I helped start up, and they formed a new company. So super exciting.
No way.
Future for that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens there. But also it like introduced me to like space junk, satellite tracking, and like space traffic management and all this stuff. It was like such a like different world from just like taking pretty pictures, which was cool.
Yeah.
Dude, it sounds like you are just kind of evolving in your own little way too. Like starting out working with telescopes and dealing with regular consumer questions about tinkering with their scopes, to exposing the night skies to people who have never seen it before, to like, I don't know, man, I feel like space debris detection, satellites, and there's just gonna be so much more that you're gonna be doing. And I think it's just gonna be in a way its own little new journey for you as well, within the next, I don't know how many, 3-5 years.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the future. My core like life mission is getting people out onto the night sky, which is the thing that satisfies that in the immediate is the workshops and tours and things like that. But I think you can only reach a certain amount of people with that, and it's very limiting. Obviously, it's like so fun to do that stuff because you get to be out there and you get to connect with people and show them like this. Basically, you're like opening their eyes to the universe, which is so cool. But again, it's like it's limiting because not everyone is capable of taking time off to do that stuff. So that's why I've pivoted into like really focusing on YouTube, because I think it's one of the best places where you can reach a huge number of people. And I realized that when I was first doing astrophotography back in like 2017 or 2018, I realized that like social media wasn't this thing that like, oh, it's just people like who are like really vain and just like chasing likes and things like that. That's what I used to think social media was, and I was like not active at all. But then I like had this mindset shift of like, no, this is actually an opportunity to reach people who you normally couldn't reach, because I was so used to doing the sidewalk astronomy where you bring the telescope out and then people who walk by, you show them the moon or the planets and things like that. And in that same regard, you're still limited by like your location. Like people have to be out on that specific night and have to be passing by, and then have to be willing to say, yeah, I'll take a look, to get connected to the night sky. But with social media, you could like take a photo and reach people around the world, and you could reach, hundreds, thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people with social media. And so I think that's why using the internet and social media to reach more people, to inspire more people, is kind of the path I'm going down right now, which is why I've focused so much on my YouTube channel in the last like year, because it gives me the ability to reach more people, to hopefully inspire them to want to go out, get interested in astronomy, start looking up more, get connected to the night sky, or as I like to say, get reconnected to the night sky, because our whole human history, right, has always had the night sky. We've always seen it. Like it's always been there. And then we're like the first generations in all of human history who don't get to see it. So it's like we have to get reconnected to it,
That's brilliant. It's a really great way of putting it. And it's true. It's not that we've never seen it. We're just disconnected.
Yeah. It's always there.
You are the perfect person, the perfect candidate to be a representation of that. Going back to your YouTube, dude, I binged pretty much all of your videos, and I had no idea that you were... The way you make your videos is inspiring. I just watched the last one, and yeah, guys, I highly recommend checking out this particular video, but if you can, binge watch all of them. But you put out a video 2 weeks ago. It was called "What Do Unedited Hubble Photos Actually Look Like?" It popped up on my For You page, and I was like, oh, like I know Ian. I'm going to watch it. Dude, it's a 10-minute video, but the amount that I learned in that video, and the amount that I know that thousands and millions of other people are going to learn, is extremely it's inspiring, dude. You have such a way of you have a way of telling a story and making things that are would be like really complex or complicated, and then just breaking it down very easily. And you talk about something about like, are these photos real or they're not? And I'm so grateful you touched on that, because I think every astrophotographer at some point in their career or life will deal with someone saying, that's not fake. Or I mean, that's not real. That's all fake. That's all CGI.
Right.
And you just do such a good job of explaining that. So for those of you guys that are watching right now, or if you are listening, I highly recommend checking out Ian Lauer's videos. They are exceptional.
I appreciate that so
Very
much.
Inspiring, dude.
I appreciate that. For people who don't know, like YouTube videos, they take so much work and effort and planning. And I think a lot of people who aren't used to social media think that, like, let's take TikTok, for example. Like someone, they see a video of someone just like, okay, hey, so here I am and blah, blah, blah. And they start talking and they're like, oh, that person just sat there and just talked and they got 1 million views. Like social media is so easy, anyone can do it. But what they don't realize is like how how much effort is actually put into those videos. Like that person probably did that take 30, 40 times. That person probably thought about that idea like for weeks. Like, oh, it'd be cool if I made a video about that. And of course, there's always like the exception. There is the person who just turned the camera on, talked, and they went viral. But we're talking about like the majority, like the 99% of people, where the amount of time it takes. And so like these short form videos, like on Shorts or TikTok or Instagram, like for some people it takes like a couple hours to make a single one. And like with a YouTube video, I mean, I've been working on one for like 2.5 weeks, and I'm still not done with it. And sometimes it just ends up being like a 9-minute video.
Right.
It's like it's like so much effort. And like but yeah, and so it's so rewarding when you get people saying like, wow, this is like really well done. Because I really, really try my best to make sure things are communicated while also trying to keep it exciting. And it's like a fine balance, especially with like science and technical stuff. It's very difficult to communicate some of these ideas in a very streamlined way that will hold someone's attention and not make it feel like they're attending a lecture.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's like a skill on its own that I'm still trying to figure out. Cause I look at other YouTube channels who do it so well, and I like study them because I'm like, wow, what they said there. Like I forget that I'm sometimes they're so good. I forget that I'm like watching their video to study it. So it just gets sucked in. And then I'm like, oh crap, like I'm supposed to take notes,
Bro, that's literally how I felt when I was watching that. I was like, this video is only 10 minutes. I wish it was an hour long. Dude, I felt like you spent like a month on that video. It was just so well put together. All the different angles, all the you're very good with visually overlaying like that B-roll, adding like a complimentary photo that makes things just so much easier to understand. You spend a lot of time doing that, and it shows, man. So hats off to you.
Appreciate it. The graphics are all if I can't find like free ones, like I have to make it on my own, and it's so hard because I'm not like a graphic designer. I just am like, okay, here's Photoshop and here's some like royalty free vector designs. Like, let's go.
You should just post them and it says like Shutterstock on it.
Yeah. I could totally do that too. Yeah, that's true.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and honestly, it's like my most recent videos are the ones where I really feel like I've taken it to the next level. And I could nerd out about YouTube for hours because that's like my new, like, I'm so tunnel vision. I get pretty tunnel visioned on things when I get when I'm trying to like reach a goal. So like my goal for last year of 2024 was my first year of like, okay, I'm gonna like hunker down and focus on YouTube. And my goal was like, I want to hit 10,000 followers or 10,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of 2024. And I got to like 20, which I was like, wow, that's awesome. So now I'm like, okay, I want to get to 100,000. Even if I don't get it, it's like, I shoot for the stars, land on the moon, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, right. Totally.
Forget it backwards. But
we're on the same boat, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to see you up there too.
But it's so it's fun, and like I said, I could talk about it for hours. But I won't do that in this. There's a whole like strategy behind it, and my most recent videos are the ones that I definitely took that approach, where like some of my older videos, even just like 6 months ago, I feel like, wow, I was like, I had no idea what I was doing, and now I'm like, okay, I definitely feel like I'm hitting my stride, and still so much to learn. But it's the best way to communicate space. It's the best way to get people excited about astronomy.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're maybe a year from now, or towards the end of this year, you're gonna make some videos, and you're gonna look at the one that I was praising you about, and you can say, damn, that Hubble video, what was I thinking? Perhaps it's going to be a continuous, flow of just always wanting to better yourself and critiquing yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. It's a sign of growth. So
when he said when he was tracking space junk, he was just talking about space videos. It's like, that video's...
Oh, freaking awesome.
Dude, Ian, one thing I just am like chomping at the bit to get to is I would love to have the opportunity to see some of your work. Would you be able to present some of your stuff
Oh
that you've
yeah.
taken, some of your captures, some things you're working on?
All right. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah, you guys are in for a treat. This stuff is absolutely fantastic.
There we go. How's that?
All right, let's there
Aha.
we are.
Ooh.
So this is I'm gonna keep it in this view because it'll block everything out for me. But
Right, for sure.
so this was one of it was like a camping trip. I mean, I feel like this. Someone asked me like, "What is the photo that like you feel like represents you the best?" And I was like, I showed him this photo. I was like, I think this is it because
Heck yeah.
being
dude.
out there under the night sky, you know, just in that moment, looking up. I mean, it was
Look at that milk.
yeah, and this was like a single. So if you're a photographer, you'll appreciate this. But this was like a single like 20-second exposure. And
Nice.
the campfire just had this like natural the natural light from the campfire lighting up the trees was just so cool.
Yeah, wow.
I absolutely love this one. And then these two are pretty sweet too. These are ones from a workshop we do in Utah near Capitol Reef National Park. On the right here is like this barn that's like really famous out there. And what was cool about this is like some guy on a bike was like riding through the shot. So like I forgot if it like started or ended the exposure with him riding through with his like red light, but it turned out really cool. So I kept it in. And then this one on the right, this is a place in Utah called Temple of the Sun and Moon, which was a cool spot because we did an annular eclipse workshop at that spot, which we were like, how cool would it be to do a annular eclipse at a place called the Temple of the Sun and Moon?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
cool story about this place is the folks that I mentioned who were getting married, Paul and Lisa. Paul proposed to Lisa during the annular eclipse while it was happening at this location.
Did he put a ring of fire on her hand?
Would have been epic. It was the Ring of Fire eclipse, and they got engaged there. It was so cool. It was epic.
What a special moment. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
And then here we go is Death Valley over here. This is a
Sheesh.
classic spot. And then another place in Utah, Factory Butte, one of my favorite spots. This shot here on the right at Factory Butte. Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you, hiking out there in the middle of, was it like July or June or something? I mean, it was 100 degrees at midnight. So we're walking along the sand dunes at midnight, just sweating. And you know, you have all your camera gear. Oh,
yeah.
dude.
Sounds insane.
All for the shot.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
All for the shot.
When people see these photos, like, oh, that's so cool, but they don't even realize how much blood and sweat went into just getting there, let alone photographing it. And amazing
the effort.
I saw that shot that's on the left on your website, and I was like, is that one of those rocks that moves?
Yes, the sailing stones.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Please explain that. Yeah.
The Playa racetrack. So there's a spot in Death Valley where, so you see the trail, Tan, behind the rock here?
Yeah.
So no one made that. The rock actually created that on its own by moving. And for the longest time, no one knew why these were moving on their own, which is why they call it the sailing stones at the Playa racetrack. And it took like, I think it was 2014 or so. I could be totally wrong, but I think it was like 2014 where someone finally put a camera out there to take a time lapse to like see how this is happening. And it turns out like when it gets wet and then the ground freezes, they start to slide along the ground. So that's what like creates these, and they move pretty fast too. Sometimes like a couple feet a day.
It's nuts.
There wasn't a fishing string or fishing line attached to
some
it.
dudes out there fishing it.
Some dudes like I'm
or aliens. That would be the typical explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be
use
alien.
free will to do this.
Yep.
Some strange energy.
Incredible.
Up there. Yeah, it's a cool spot when you go out, and these are like, it's not sand too, it's mud, so it's like hard. So it's not just like, you know, you can wipe it off or anything. Like this is like, it's mud that's like it's so cool. Just like seeing these like everywhere too. They're all over this like dried lake bed. It's so awesome. And then, so I also do deep space, obviously. So we got the horse head and flame, a classic one. And then I added this star spike. This is actually one that my wife and I did. My wife is very good at color and creating like these stunning colors and stuff. And I definitely have the more like technical side of like setting up the telescopes and getting all the pre-processing and stuff done. And she's got a background she's been using Photoshop since like Photoshop version 0.1 or whatever.
That's incredible, dude. I love the glow.
And then this narrowband shots. So this was the Rosette Nebula. Very, very cool spot near Orion. And then the Crescent Nebula, which is like a brain. Really like this one. This was like using one of those big plane wave telescopes.
Oh, you got to use one?
Yeah. Working at working in the telescope industry gives you a lot of like perks.
Real quick, what's the going rate on one of those?
So depends which one you want. You could get like a 1 meter for 500,000. I mean, we're talking about 1 meter, which is like overkill.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
My favorite one is if you've ever seen the Planewave L series mounts. So it's just like a single fork arm L mount, but it's on a direct drive, so it uses magnets. And so it can swing at like 60 degrees a second. So like you have this enormous, whatever, like 200-pound telescope, and it's just like moving like this.
What?
Yeah.
It's just like
it'll just eat you.
Yeah. And it's for like satellite tracking and stuff like that, because you try to track like low Earth orbit stuff, and so you got to be like super fast moving.
That's crazy.
This Trifid Nebula was one of my favorites.
Beautiful.
This is a recent one, and this is taken out from Starfront Observatory. So my buddy Bray, started up. He started up Starfront, and I got my telescope was, other than my telescope was scope number 1 out there.
No way. Yeah, that's so cool, dude. Wow.
You gotta get dibs, man.
He stole my gear to put on his, so he could be like the first to get the first shot out there.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing.
Bray's awesome though. I love him.
We had Andrew McCarthy on in November, and he was talking about having his gear set up at Starfront. So
nice.
There's a lot of you guys out there, and it's so cool.
It's the largest observatory by volume. And Andrew, he's awesome. Right. I love that guy. Yeah. So Andrew and me and my wife and Bray and a bunch of the astro nerds, we all used to just like hang out all the time out in Joshua Tree and just do astrophotography. So we had so many fun nights. It was a blast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those are good times. We were all just a bunch of young nerds taking space photos and staying up till 5 a.m.
It's the best. Amazing. Sign me up, dude.
Sign me up. It was a blast.
I already bought my plane ticket, just so you know.
And I got a couple more here. M33 Triangulum, another beautiful one. This one was cool. So my upcoming video, hopefully it'll come out in like the next 2 weeks or so, is about photographing Orion. But I got a cool twist on it. But if you just see, like, I wanted to kind of combine my knowledge of like satellite stuff with it. So like this is a 3-minute photo of Orion. You can see all these like satellites going through it, and then if you increase it to like 30 minutes, this is how many you get. And if you increase it to an hour, that's how many satellites you get in an hour.
Yeah,
just crazy. So there's a lot of
what a cool looking photo too, dude.
It's definitely like modern art.
Yeah. Turn it into an NFT. Yeah.
Trade it for a monkey thing, whatever it's called. The Bored Ape. I think those are going for $10 now. Dude. And then a couple more. This one I really liked the concept, which is zooming in on the Pleiades.
Oh yeah.
So like here's Pleiades from like a 12 millimeter lens or something. It's so tiny in here. But then this is a 55 millimeter lens. This is a 250 millimeter lens. Then you get the 417 millimeter lens, just like zooming in, like all the different stuff, like you start to see as you get closer and closer. That one was cool.
Dusty, dude.
Yeah, and this I would probably, if someone asked
Oh
me what's your
man,
best photo, I'd say this is my most recent Pleiades photo. Is probably one of my best photos I've ever done,
beautiful.
in my
Cool.
opinion. It's just so beautiful, all the different colors, dust, textures, everything. Just very proud of this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then last one here. So out at Starfront. So if you don't know what Starfront is, it's a remote observatory in Texas, started by Bray, my buddy Bray. And you can send your telescope out there, and they're under like some of the darkest skies. And they'll just look after your telescope, so you can remotely log in. So like I get to run my telescope from here in my office, and it'll run on its own, or it'll run while I'm out doing Milky Way shooting and stuff like that. But one of the cool things about having a bunch of people in the same spot is you get to do these collective projects. And so this one is a supernova remnant, and it's never been photographed before in optical. It was detected in radio. And so we were the first ones to ever photograph this supernova remnant in optical wavelengths. And so all the blue you're seeing is the oxygen, and then the red is the hydrogen.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was rad. Like we were the first people to ever do something like this. But in doing so, we actually made a new discovery. So right here, there's like this tiny little dot here, and I got it zoomed out here. It was a brand new planetary nebula that's never been discovered before.
What?
Dude,
So
that's crazy.
So we named it the SFO1, which is Starfront Observatory 1 Planetary Nebula.
Sick. Dude, that's badass.
It's super cool. So we do these like collective telescope projects. It's super fun, because one of the things that people don't realize is that the large professional telescopes, most of the time you have to bid for time on them, because they're like public, funded with public money. So then researchers bid for time, and then they have to like submit proposals. So the time you get on the telescope is very like hyper specific. So you can't just go around like, oh, well, I just want to see what's over here. You don't really get to explore space. You have to come up with an idea that can be justified by allocating the time. So it's like, oh, well, we're looking for whatever, like echoes of dark matter or black holes or whatever, name it. And then a committee is like, okay, yeah, we approve it, and you get this much time allocated, or whatever. So you don't get the ability to just explore with these big telescopes, and that leaves the door open for astrophotographers to fill in the gaps. And so places like this that have never been seen optically, we get the opportunity to explore them, because Hubble or like Chandra, none of these like optical telescopes will spend time doing that, let alone the amount of time needed to do something like that. So this is like, I forgot, it was like 200 hours just in oxygen 3 data alone, right? And this is like, there's no way you could justify taking like the Keck Observatory and just to like look at something that might be there.
Right.
But with a collective group of amateur astronomers, citizen scientists, astrophotographers, and professionals who are at Starfront, we get to do that, which is so cool. And it gives us the freedom to just kind of look around. And it's all spearheaded by Bray, because he has the knowledge how to process all these things together. So super, super cool that we get to do that kind of stuff. That's one of the benefits of being out there.
How does one go about making a discovery official, like in the science community? How do you do that? Because like, I'd be like, oh dang, we discovered something. Now I gotta like defend this and hope nobody else like discovers this for like tries to take the discovery.
Right.
How do you solve that problem?
There's a couple ways you could do it for this one in particular. There's like a database that's like run by a guy who like catalogs all the planetary nebulas, and so you have to like submit. There's like a submission process that I am not familiar with. Bray handles all that stuff because he's more in tune with that. He has so many discoveries under his name now, so he's pretty streamlined with what it takes. And but yeah, there's like I guess it just depends on like what catalog or like what you're shooting, and then seeing if anyone even like tracks it or like does anything like that. yeah, I would assume like, let's say you like you think you discover an asteroid, you probably have to go through like I don't know, some planetary committee, and have a submission, and then they have like a official catalog that they track things and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's a process. It's not something that I'm in tune with or really care about.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, it just, that kind of stuff doesn't really interest me. So.
So cool, man. Yeah, I'm blown away.
Thanks for sharing all that. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't be a photographer if I didn't get excited about showing off my photos.
Yeah, of course. You gotta be proud. That's some good stuff.
Show it off, man. Show it off. Flex it.
Well, it's a good way to like get people excited too, because it's like, sure, I took those, but you also can take photos like that, and you don't need a remote observatory. You don't need that, telescope, that $1 million telescope on top of a mountain. You can go out and capture the stuff with very modest equipment. And I think that's the thing that people don't realize, is that like those Milky Way photos, you could take that with a camera lens and tripod. You could buy a 10-year-old Canon camera for like $200-$300, a cheap Rokinon lens for like $150-$200, and then just get a tripod and you can get photos like that.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. The potential is endless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Sweet. Well, let's change gears here real quick. We want to open up the floor to those of us who are watching live on YouTube or on Twitch. If you guys have questions for Ian, please feel free to submit them in the chats. It can be about anything related to his work or astronomy, something that you maybe have thought about during the show tonight. This is your chance. So go ahead and submit those, and we'll answer a couple of them before we wrap up the program here in a little bit. But I'm going to launch it here while we wait for people to kind of type some questions out. And the first question I have is relative to something you and I were talking a little bit before the show. It's not really video game related, but maybe we'll get there. You're a big video gamer, or like a huge fan of video games, right?
Yeah.
What sort of games do you play? What are you into?
Oh man. So I don't play I don't play a huge variety of games. I usually I find 1 or 2 games and I just get super into it. Mm-hmm. And so I started out with StarCraft.
Yeah.
And
nice, dude.
I was like hardcore into StarCraft. And then I moved to Diablo 2, and I think that ruined my life for a while.
Yes.
Stay up till 5 a.m, just raiding dungeon, looking for loot. And then I used to play competitively. I'd play Counter-Strike, this old Steam game called Day of Defeat, and then Dota when it was
you played Dota,
dude, back when it was on Warcraft 3 before it split to Dota 2. I used to play in tournaments for Dota, which was fun.
Hardcore, man.
Oh dude, it was the most toxic game.
Yeah.
And nowadays I'm playing Civilization. The new one just came out.
Oh yeah,
Civilization 7, more just turn-based strategy. I played Diablo 4 for a little bit, and then a first-person shooter I play is called Hell Let Loose, which is a World War II. Yeah, that one is just so addicting.
It's great. It's a super fun game.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
That's freaking awesome.
I love it, man. Thanks for diving into that. I know it's a little bit of a skew, but it's important to me. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to that stuff.
I got a question for you too.
Do it.
Okay. Metal. What kind of metal are we talking about, man? And I know you like metal.
Oh yeah.
You're a metalhead.
What kind of metal am I not into? I think that's probably the better question, because there's so many sub genre. You could totally nerd out about it. So I'd probably say the ones I don't really listen to is the black metal. Not a huge listener. I don't know if you guys are super familiar with the different types of heavy metal there are.
What about Between the Buried and Me? That kind.
Oh, dude, that's probably the band I've seen the most live.
Hell yeah, dude! Their Colors album.
Dude, I got Great Misdirect here from Between the Buried and Me, and then I've got another Between the Buried and Me inspired one, which is these koi fish swimming to the moon for their song "Swim to the Moon."
Oh wow!
Okay, Between the Buried's sick, dude.
Oh yeah, I just grew up listening to them. They're awesome. So if you don't know, music is my other life. If I wasn't doing space stuff, I'd probably be in music in one way or another.
Mm.
Oh, cool. Okay. You and Will got to start up a astro band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
will be the would be a good name. If you're Astro Nerd, welcome to the show, SHO. That's like super Astro Nerd talk.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I love progressive metal. That would probably be my genre. And again, some people might hear that and be like, I don't know what the hell that even means.
Yeah.
And then if they're like, what bands? And I'd start naming bands, and they'd probably be like, I don't know any of those.
Do you like animals as leaders? Does that
Dude,
count?
animals is dude. I love anything in that subgenre. I am like about like Polyphia, animals as leaders, Between the Buried and Me, Dream Theater, Opeth. You name it, I probably like it.
I
like the
saw
classics.
animals.
I like the classics too. Like I like Metallica and
Okay.
I like Anthrax and all the like grunge bands and like Rage Against the Machine, all that stuff. I love all that. I like music. Like I'm a huge music fan, and it doesn't have to be metal either. Like I'll like Gautier, like it's great music, you know. Or what's that? You know, that Adele. So I had surgery and like they gave me anesthesia. So you know when you wake up, you're like totally out of it.
Yeah.
So I remember waking up and Adele was playing on the radio, and it was Rolling in the Deep, and I was like belting it out as I was waking up out of anesthesia.
Hell
Oh, and it was probably sounded terrible, but in my head I was just like rolling in the deep.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's
Yeah, let loose.
fantastic.
That's awesome.
Dude, oh man, I wish there was a video of that because I'd be showing it right now, you know.
Let me showcase some of these questions here. We got a few of them in the chat. I'm going to breeze through these. Let's show this one from Alex. Ian, do your photos go for monies or do you get featured?
So I used to sell prints a lot, and I've slowed down on that because it takes a lot of effort to really do it right. And I'll still offer prints from time to time. But I mostly like, you know, I help my wife with her print stores now, and I'm more focused on my YouTube lately. But yeah, that's usually my money made from the photos would be from print sales. And then like I have like time lapse and stuff that I license for like very little money.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, someone's like websites where people just download it and you get like a small kickback, and I make like $1.
Right. Hey, $1's $1, man.
That's right.
We got another question here. Are you playing the new D4?
I was playing it for a little bit. Played it when it came out. It was fun. And then it got a little samey, I guess.
Repetitive.
Would be but it like still fun. Like I still have fun with it. I just haven't picked it up because usually like I'll be super into one and then I'll be super into something else and I'll be super. So if like there's a new Diablo season that comes out and it looks really exciting, then I'll probably like stop playing Civ and go back to playing like Diablo for months or something like that.
Nice. I like this one. Let's do another one from R.A. Jones. Is it Chile where they are building the largest telescope ever?
Yes, it's the. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, I forgot the name too.
I mean, there's so many like new telescope projects that are coming out now. It's crazy, like these like enormous land-based telescopes they're creating.
Let's see. The
But
giant.
it's probably Chile, if I had to guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of large telescopes, I don't know if this was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ian. I think I saw like a plane wave telescope, but it had like 14 RASs all like connected. You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen like the Dragonfly telescope, which is like 14 Canon lenses. Like it looks like a honey, like a beehive or like a what do you call it, honeycomb setup. It was pretty cool. I've seen like people do like 4 RASAs put together, and those are usually for like space domain awareness, satellite tracking, astro detection, all that kind of stuff. Because you need you need a lot of light in, you need fast, you need a fast aperture,
Yeah,
and those big scopes are really good for for doing that stuff, especially because like a lot of space debris is so dim and you can only see it at like a very specific time, so you need a wide field of view. There's so many like constraints with that stuff.
Yeah. Very cool.
Sweet. Well, everybody, thank you for submitting your questions in the chat. We appreciate the support and the assist there. It's been a good time getting to have you guys watch and hang with us and Ian as we've learned all about space from him. It's been so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a blast. This was so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, I was like rolling so many times, dude. This is great. But I also feel like really energized to go do space, like and look it through a different lens. Pun totally intended. Yeah, I'm just like, I haven't done enough recently, and I'm like, dude, I gotta get back to it. This is what I needed. So, dude, thank you for
man,
passing along some energy in our direction.
Yep.
Thank you guys for having me. This was a blast. The chat was going off. You guys and girls are epic. I forgot to click the comments section, so now I'm looking I see all the. I'm sorry if I didn't see you in here, but I see a lot of the music, like "Job for a Cowboy." Yes,
JFAC, yeah,
yeah. Alaska, amazing album. Opeth, love it.
Sweet, awesome. Well, as we wrap it up, real quick, will you just kind of remind us where we can find more stuff about your merch and workshops and stuff like that?
Yeah, so my YouTube at Ian Lauer Astro, very easy to find. Or if you go to my website, stargazertours.com, you can find out all the info about upcoming workshops. We'll be updating it in the next, probably the next couple days here with the new workshops coming out. And then same website, stargazertours.com. If you click the merch section, I've got all the Stargazer merch there. And yeah, if you want to connect or have any extra questions, you can always just hit me up via email, or Instagram DMs is usually where I am most active.
Sweet.
Everywhere else, not so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good to know. We appreciate your vulnerability and openness to allowing our community to connect with you, man. That's super generous of you. Thank you.
Yeah. We appreciate your time. And this is a question I love to ask just for the wrap up. But Ian, if you could give someone who is wanting to get into astronomy, if you could give them a couple words of advice, a complete newbie, what would that look like, or what would that sound like?
That's a good question. Someone, if you were just starting out, if you like wanted to get in astronomy, I would probably say that the best thing to do is just go visit dark skies. Like, there's no better way to learn about so many different things than going out under the night skies, even just with your eyes or with a telescope. And one of my friends, he studied philosophy in university, and he said that one look, his very first look, seeing the moon through a telescope, taught him more about philosophy than all of his time in school. So I think if you do the same thing, go out, just spend some time under dark skies, because that's where it all started. Like, you're literally at ground zero with astronomy when you're out there under the Milky Way, under a sea of stars. That's the best place to start. Everything else will just fall into place after that.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah, just getting out and looking up. Don't overcomplicate it. You know?
That's right. Super simple.
Yeah.
That's perfect, dude. Well put. Sweet. Well, dude, Ian, it's been a pleasure talking with you. It's been awesome to meet you. And we hope that if you would consider it, we'd love to have you back on a future episode, because this was fantastic.
Sounds great. Yeah, I would love to.
So after you make your next huge discovery, we're going to bring you back on, dude. Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yes. Sweet,
Hell
dude.
yeah.
All right, man. Well, take care. Wishing you all the best. And we'll see you in the next one, brother.
Bye, everyone.
Later, man. Yo. Everybody, let's throw some big, huge W's in the chat for Ian Lauer.
Yeah.
thank him for being here and giving us his time. He's in the Eastern time zone, so it's extra late for him.
Yep.
So show your appreciation, show your love. There can't be enough of it. So let's see this chat blow up.
W's in chat for Ian. Dude, he's I knew he was a cool dude, but holy crap, he's doing so much.
Yeah.
He's doing so much.
We were talking about the word legendary at the beginning of the episode, dude.
Yeah.
I think we defined it. It's Ian Lauer.
Dude, we gotta step our game up, man. I'm trying to be like Ian.
Yeah, right.
Pretty cool though. It's cool to know that there are other people out there that are just so passionate about astronomy. And I know that's like a really cliche thing that could be said about any kind of niche, but I wouldn't say I am surrounded by people like Ian. Like I know of people, and every once in a while you'll see an article or you'll discover a photographer doing something special, but to actually get to sit down and have a normal conversation with someone like that, it is truly inspiring. It's like, man, that's something really special that you're doing. And I'm super grateful that he found his calling. He found his thing, you know? I want that for everyone. But this one's extra special because his calling is something that lines up with my calling. Like I'm trying to find my special something too, you know? So
yeah.
What a cool guest.
Agreed.
W guest.
W guest.
Yeah. W guest.
Yeah, you guys, if you're tuning in, listening to this, watching it live, whatever, go find a way to support Ian. Give him a follow at Ian Lauer.
Pick up some merch.
Pick up some merch, some Stargazer merch, just like I've got here. I'm rocking one of his hats. Sign up for one of his workshops. Do something crazy, maybe something you've never done before. Just get immersed in it and show your appreciation by supporting him in some way.
Yeah, should we sign up for the yacht party, bro? Like, how much does that cost? How much money does it cost to get on a yacht?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
we'll have to use our funds for the show.
Go ahead, dude. Yeah,
I was say maybe we can start saving up and use our funds from our show and afford to get on the yacht.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was thinking about selling my house anyway, so this is perfect. I'll just who needs a home or property or car? So we'll just
worth it.
Yeah, worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, man. Well, dude, Tan, this was awesome. Episode 37 in the books. Around the block, a 37th time. But I'm not going to give anything away. I am so not going to give anything away about episode 38. But
it's going to be a good one.
You don't want to miss it. You really don't.
We say that about every episode.
Yeah, and we should. I think it would be negligence if we didn't say that.
But if there's really one episode you don't want to miss, it's going to be the next one.
Right.
Like for sure.
Yes. So you guys make sure you swing back around for the podcast next Monday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, right here on YouTube and Twitch. It's going to be a little different than usual. We'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that.
Ooh. It's going to be good.
Tease it.
Appreciate all the supportive comments. Thank you, Deep Sky Dude. Artie Jones. No, Artie Jones, we appreciate you just being here, my friend. You are extremely generous and you've always been so. No worries.
Yeah, we appreciate your presence more than anything. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think I'm just gonna read one last comment here. I love this so much. It's not easy finding a community like this, but beyond grateful I have. Love inspires me to do more and see more with astronomy. Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't want to stray off too much, but I feel like sometimes things in life, things in the world could be extremely just chaotic or confusing. Maybe it doesn't make sense for some of you guys. And I know these podcasts isn't really a way to just fix things, but it is a place where we can have awesome discussions about the night sky. We can have awesome discussions about what makes us truly happy. And you guys are all stargazers. Everyone listening, you guys are here for a reason, right? You guys aren't here because we are the funniest people in the world, but we we love doing this. We love and are super grateful to have the ability to have other guests share their stories with you guys. So just thank you so much for being a part of this community, for making this community what it is. So yeah, big W's to all you stargazers out there.
Oh man. All right. Well, beautifully put. And we're looking forward to next week. And as always, I've been Nick, and this has been Tan. This is the Galactic Window Space Podcast. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And you know the drill. We will see you all on the other side.